Guys, we're talking about the Texas Music Museum. You can go to texasmusicmuseum.org. You will find out more about them. They've been in Austin for 40 years and more and counting. Very excited today. I mean, I'm a Texas musician. I mean, I live in Nashville, but I'm from Texas. I have a new Texas country album out, Jimmy, so I'm going to say new until I have something else out. Even if I say new for 10 years, it's still going to be the newest. So excited today to talk to Sylvia Morales. She's the manager of the Texas Music Museum. Again, you can head on over to texasmusicmuseum.org. Very excited to dive into what they're doing. Talk about they are a nonprofit 501c3 organization, and they have a huge Texas music archive, and they operate just this small, beautiful museum here highlighting the contributions of specifically Texas musicians. So please make welcome to the program my new friend and yours, Sylvia Morales. Good morning and welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me today. It's a pleasure to be here.
Sylvia, let me just kind of start by saying I want people to get a sense of when they walk in, when they come to the Texas Music Museum, what is the first thing you guys want to communicate? What do people feel when they walk into your lobby? What do you hope people really get an impression of when it comes to Texas music and the overall history of Texas, which is so wrapped up in the music that it's created?
Yes, great question. Well, first of all, we always greet our patrons that come in. We have one-on-one tours with people that come in, and we have people from all over the world that make their way to the Texas Music Museum. We have people that come from Japan, from Australia, from Mexico, from New Zealand, from everywhere. So that really warms our heart, and it really surprises how interested people are in Texas music history. And so when you walk in, you immediately see our office that has our archive. We have thousands of negatives and photographs that we have been collecting for over 40 years. We have probably the largest Texas sheet music collection around. We are trying to preserve everything that we have in our collection. And then we also have a small grassroots museum where we highlight very different genres in Texas. For example, we have a collection that encompasses Texas Czech music, German music, Native American music. We have like all these different genres. Did you guys know that over 25 different ethnicities came to settle in Texas? So as you can kind of just figure that all these musicians came together to form music. So for example, the Tejano music and conjunto music compromises of polka music. So that's something that we can talk about later. But we have different exhibits. Right now we have the Texas Pioneers exhibit featuring people like Buddy Holly, Scott Joplin, Flaco Jimenez, Lydia Mendoza. We also have an Austin country room where we highlight Don Walzer, Dolores Ferris, Jerry Jeff Walker. And we have an East Austin African American musician exhibit. And we like to highlight people from the East Austin community. For example, we have W.C. Clark, Luz Boy Hubbard, Danita Jo DeBlanc, Gil Askey, Dr. Jones, and Pamela Hart. And we also have a Mexican-American musicians exhibit where we like to talk about Ruben Ramos, Manuel Donley, Las Hermanas Gonzalez, and then conjunto favorites like Camilo Cantú and Johnny Degollado.
Sylvia, I love mentioning, hearing you say Jerry Jeff Walker. Of course, he's such a standard and a staple here. I grew up in Texas, and the likes of Jerry Jeff Walker, Pat Green, and Jack Ingram played my high school and college dances and parties. Now, granted, this was a long time ago, but it's so cool. And so now leaving Texas, I don't live here anymore, but it's such a feel. And are you a musician yourself, Sylvia? You're not, right?
I play piano and clarinet, but I'm not like a practicing musician. But
No.
Yeah, but I mean,
you're a musician. You're a musician. No. I mean, you're a professional museum curator, but you're a musician. Yeah.
Yeah, because my point is, in all the influences which you've just talked about, all the different influences, both culturally, from other places, but they all come together. But it's not just Texas music isn't just a melting pot of it's just all these different influences. It's a melting pot, but that has this feeling behind it. Are you able to in the museum? Because I have yet to be able to put my finger on what the feeling of Texas music is, especially Texas country and that red dirt thing. What is it? What is it that makes it? I'm going to say us in this regard, makes it so. I don't know. It's that feeling in your soul. What is it to you? What is Texas music to you?
Well, personally to me, because my father was a musician, even though he'd never liked to admit it, he learned how to play the guitar by himself.
Wait.
So growing up with music, listening to him sing his boleros, it's something in your heart that is really difficult to explain with words. So I guess you really don't really know it unless you've experienced it. So lots of people that come into the museum are musicians. A lot of them come in for inspiration because they're stuck in their songwriting. So the majority of the people that come in, like I said, are visitors from out of town. But then we also have that those group of people that come in looking for inspiration in their songwriting, which makes it fun to give tours to because they're there to try to get inspiration from Texas pioneers. And
That's
so
cool.
they ask all these questions. They're there for hours, and it's so much fun being able to help them get inspiration.
I wouldn't have thought of it, Jim, in that regard. I could go to the museum for my own work, like go to not just to learn, but to be inspired to evolve in my own music.
Well, it's the same way if you go to like the museums in London, all the painting museums, you'll just see just so many young people with their sketchbooks just sitting there working, and there's no reason why a music museum can't be the same point of
Yeah.
inspiration. And not just in terms of the music itself, but in terms of image and style. So much of that is so important for advancing your career. I do want to kind of pick on Sylvia for a second. Did you just tell me that your father would never admit that he was a musician? Gee, I wonder if it runs in the family.
Yeah, it's funny because, I would love to brag about him, and he would say, I would tell, oh, did you know that my dad can sing these beautiful boleros from the 1930s and 40s? And then he would shrug it off and say, oh, I'm just someone who plays the guitar and like runs my fingers through the chords. But like I guess because he didn't feel
Which is,
with
I
it
think,
because
by
he couldn't do music.
definition, a musician in regards a guitar
Yeah,
player.
it's kind of like if you said, like, if somebody asked you if you were a musician, you say, well, look, I play the piano and the clarinet, but I'm not, guess what? You're a musician, Sylvia, so it runs in the family, by the way.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true.
I wanted to
Yeah,
ask
but
you. Go ahead.
yeah, my daughter also, she's a classically trained Suzuki pianist. So it does run in the family, I guess, because when I was growing up, I heard my dad playing the guitar at 3 a.m, and it's just like normal, and so, when I hear my daughter wanting to play late at night, it's like the normal thing. So.
Well, and let me put a button up on that sentiment, Jim, as well, before your next question, because the idea I remember when Texas is like come one, come all for the most part. You're welcome here. And I remember when I went to Nashville first, and I was at a songwriter night. I was inspired by something someone sang, Jim, and I started writing on my napkin about it like I had an idea. But I got called out. Somebody came over to me and said, you can't do that here. You're stealing some people on stage. I'm like, no. I was inspired by something that I was really into. So I say that. I tell that story to say, I love that you're welcoming people to come and be inspired, be like, these are the people that came before you. I mean, everything is built off something else. So I think that's a really cool sentiment and another encouraging word that whether you're a musician, or we have so many, Sylvia, truck drivers that listen that have all kinds of stories, and they're like, I want to put these stories into song. I would encourage you to go to texasmusicmuseum.org or head on over there physically and find your inspiration to put it into song, Jim.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sylvia, I wanted to ask you a question in regards to curation. Is that from time to time, I know you guys have shifts of emphasis where you want to go to next, what you want to highlight, often speaking for those who have only been heard by a few and need to be heard by many. Can you talk about what the upcoming plans for the museum are, what you guys are hoping to highlight, and what you're hoping to really call attention to?
Well, that's a great question. Thank you for asking. Because we are a 501c3 nonprofit, it's really difficult for us to even get money from the city and the state. But we are fortunate enough to have been secure a grant through the Austin Economic Development Department that we're so grateful for, but we still heavily rely on donations from people who believe in our mission. And so we are currently looking for corporate sponsors who believe in the power of music and culture and education. Supporting the Texas Music Museum means investing in something truly meaningful to our city and our state. And we were just looking for businesses who want to make an impact while celebrating Texas music culture. So basically that. And then also we have monthly shows, and they're free shows that are open to the community. So if you look at our Facebook or Instagram, we always let everyone know when we're going to have a free show. And they're pretty intimate. Our space is small. We have about maybe 70 people that are able to fit in our little music area, but we have such a fun event monthly. And so if you guys are in the Austin area or going to travel, I encourage everyone to check our calendar. That way you guys are aware of when we have shows.
Sylvia, we have you for a few more minutes. I'm going to throw our next guest I'm going to throw him under the table by introducing him to you here, because I know, because you said you need corporate sponsors. John, no, that's not why I'm asking here. But I would love to connect you here. John Esparza is joining us. He's the president of the TXTA Association that we're here for their conference right now. And he is a proud Texan. He's a music lover. He's a fisherman. He's a jack of all trades. And I just thought it would be neat to introduce, because he's been listening here. And John, first of all, say hello to Sylvia. Sylvia, meet John.
Hello, Sylvia. Glad to be here with you.
Hi, John. How are you?
I'm great. Good morning.
I thought it'd be fun to introduce, because John, we'll talk about TXTA when we actually bring you on at 9. But in this context, how important is Texas music to you?
Well, that's just it. And one of the reasons I came down here and I knew y'all were having this conversation and I wanted to eavesdrop was how important Texas music is to all of Texas, and how much it's a part of the fiber of this community in particular and in other parts of the state. I mean, I grew up in the western part of the state, went to school up in Lubbock, Texas, lived across the street from a guy who used to play with Buddy Holly, and he used to play bluegrass music on his front yard on a Fridays and take me to Mobeetie, Texas. First time I'd ever been there, to an actual festival in college. And then when he found out I was from Austin, he said, that I was moving to Austin actually. He said, "Well, you need to go to the Kerrville Folk Festival," and I did. And you meet the most interesting, creative folks in this industry, and they're just everywhere in this town in particular, and I just love it.
Well, there you go, Sylvia. I assume you would agree with that sentiment, but it's just a reminder, having, that our music is a universal language, as we all know, and Texas specifically, and their music. So, Sylvia, again, I would stress again, because you guys do not stay open without the support of people coming through, seeing the museum, without corporate support, without family support. So are there ways outside of monetary that people can get involved and support the cause that you have going on?
Yeah, absolutely. We're always looking for volunteers. So if anyone is interested in volunteering, or if anyone would like to talk about being a corporate sponsor, they can reach out to me at info@texasmusicmuseum.org. And I invite everyone listening to come visit the Texas Music Museum, located at 1009 East 11th Street in Austin, 6 blocks east from the Capitol, and we're open Monday through Friday, noon to 4. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook to keep up with our events and programs, and we'd love to see you.
Okay, 2 things. John, favorite Texas country act, or favorite Texas act? Top 2.
That's more fair.
I got to talk about George Strait there. I mean, just the king, right?
The king.
And I'm seeing lots of things pop up on social media more recently. Last big show that I went to that I thoroughly enjoyed was Robert Earl King.
Yeah, buddy.
Right there in down street from my house, which, by the way, she gave her address. We're just a few blocks away. We're on 11th Street also, at the intersection of Sabine and 11th, which would be 700 East 11th. So we're neighbors.
John, have you been to the Texas Music Museum?
I have not. Now I'm going to be there. Absolutely.
There we go. Sylvia, you got a new fan and follower. Sylvia, your favorite Texas country musician, or 1 or 2?
I cannot name one, but if I must, I really love Lydia Mendoza. She was the pioneer of Tejano music. So she paved the way for people like Selena, that was a Tejano artist. But
Yeah.
Lydia Mendoza, and I also love Blues Boy Hubbard, who inspired Jimmy Ray Vaughan, Stevie Ray Vaughan, and there's just so many. I can't pick just one. I'll keep going all day long.
But that's
Yeah.
good. That's
Can I do a toss-up between Roy Orbison and Janis Joplin?
Sure you can.
I want to do a toss-up. I'll give a little bit of the lady, a little bit of the gentleman, and both of them, by the way, the most unbelievable. It's as if God walked down and said, "This is what voices need to sound like," and I'm giving them to Texas. So I'm kind of going to go with that. Sylvia, we are so thrilled you could join us. Thank you for your patience. We wanted to make sure you got a little extra time. It's great to have you. Go have the best of days, okay?
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys having me on today. It's such a joy talking about Texas music. Thank you.
Yeehaw.
TexasMusicMuseum.org.